12 o'clock at night on the phone, doing whatever you do, your mind is being shaped. So don't follow and what they say about this topic, social media shaping our minds. People say, no, I don't follow those people online. They crazy. Or the best one I always hear. So you went to YouTube college, because when I learned about being an Israelite, or you learn about just anything that's off of YouTube, they say, oh, you went to YouTube college. Normally it's people who, got their master's or bachelor's degree and stuff like that. And it's like, but they do have classes for the past like 20 years online. In school, it's like you go pay to go to school to sit in front of a computer. Like, come on, same difference, but they say we go to YouTube college. So our people always got jokes, but yet World Star was social media. I ain't gonna lie, I was hooked. I got out of the army in 2012. Man, every morning I was up at like 6 in the morning, YouTube, that a World Star in it, saying it World Star, like that was the vocabulary. It had me, I'm not gonna lie, you know. And if you didn't fall for World Star, then you probably fell for the water challenge. That was all over social media, which that was a way that they was um breaking us during slavery, putting that cold water on us. Everybody was doing a water challenge. Now I'm gonna go back 30 years for all you old heads and stuff. You know, remember the new word on the street? That was social media. The new dance, all that was social media and stuff. It was a way to reach out. And these other nations, they understand that. They know how we work because unlike Israel, the other nations read that Bible, especially the people who need to read it. Not your rednecks or your some of the KKK, all these guys and stuff like that, you know. So um the other nations conspire always against Israel to always keep us in a docile state. Please understand that. So when you're looking at the title, is social media shaping our minds? What you think they would have called it back in the day?
Lakia.
Huh?
It looks like Clubhouse has muted you.
Oh, really? Okay, hold on. All right, hold on. Let me go out and come back in. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay, all right, come on. Salakia, my bad. Appreciate you, sister. Can everybody hear me on Zoom?
Uh,
Okay. Maybe I said something I wasn't supposed to say. So Salakia, this is for learning only, for teaching only. All right. But so again, as I was saying, hopefully just to recap, we were just going over the topic. Um oh, okay, con. The Water King. Okay, you're saying that Clubhouse been acting up. Okay. So again, these other just don't think that this is done. Because I think what people misunderstand when we get up here and we start talking, it's like we're just talking. No, we're not. Besides us being humble servants of the Most High, we all live in this world. Hold on, this thing moving. So I can. Okay, there we go. So we all live in this world, and we all have, common sense, and that's what's your surroundings. So these nations, they conspire always against us. Anytime you see a black man, a black woman who you think is armed, especially with the police, they shoot you. But if it's their own, they don't. Come on now. So again, they always keep us in a docile state, or to try to. Here are a couple of scriptures to prove that this has been going on for a long time. This is nothing new. It's nothing new. this is by design that all of the 12 tribes are here. That's a whole different class, but we're all here and we're all suffering. I heard some young lady say that Mexicans wasn't picking cotton, that they wasn't in the tobacco fields, that they wasn't doing none of that. Are you serious? You know what I'm saying? We need to do a class on that. All 12 tribes were enslaved. No one got out of that in America. You know, I believe the first ones to get out of it, if I'm not mistaken, was the Haitians, okay? The Levites. And they suffering. And, you know, we can go to the book and go over some of their stuff, how they're suffering. But again, all 12 tribes were enslaved, were on slave ships, were at one time in cotton, tobacco, all sorts of fields, you know, and the Northern Kingdom went first. Yes, they took some of us in 1400s and stuff like that, but by large, they was getting it in on the Northern Kingdom, you know. And I'm not saying theirs was worse, but people keep forgetting about what happened to them. They always talk about, you know, us. So again, here are a couple scriptures again to prove that this has been going on for a long time. Let me get the book of Ezekiel, chapter 39, verse 23. Baba Kushah.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 39, and you say verse
23.
23.
Time.
Verse 23. When you have it, say come.
Good.
You got it that quick? Good job.
Yeah. I put them always here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
and the
I always got
heathen
them
uh,
here.
and the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Therefore he hid my face from them and gave it them into the hand of their enemies. So fell they all by the sword.
Con. So this is just another means, everyone. This whole social media is here to shape your mind. It's and what the scripture just read, all right, since we want to, you know, commit iniquity, we don't want to let me see, give in, not give in, but follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. You know, we just can't seem to follow what we supposed to follow as a nation of people, not just one or two of us. If there's one or two bad seeds, then eventually, you know, that becomes a disease and everybody starts to follow, which you're going to understand once why I did this class on the whole social media thing. Okay, because they're shaping our minds, they're shaping our hearts, which our hearts is our mind. So because they trespass against me, because we want to follow everybody, it's not hard to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. You know, with somebody dangling a barbecue shrimp in front of you, or they got some pork chop, or you got it's a naked girl, or I don't know, just some exotic thing going on. We just seem to be like, oh yeah, let me go over there. No, we have the most beautiful women. We have the best food. We have everything that we need. We don't need to go over there and eat crocodile or eat you know, a vulture. Hopefully nobody eats that nasty bird, but I wouldn't be surprised. Okay. So this is why we brought this scripture out. All right, the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity, you know, and we have to understand that we have to stop following everyone. All right. When you watching this work, can you hold on for a second, Salaki? Salakia. Everybody hear me? Yeah, see, kids in there, they over there having a party. So anyway, so again, we brought the scripture out because before we start showing the videos about this social media, you know, there's nothing new under the sun. This is what we was doing back then, and when, you know, we fallen into the same thing. And let me get the last one, the classic, because these people know what they're doing. They work methodically to and meticulously to keep us chasing that tail. They always They just ready for the next one. P. Diddy, Cardi B, this, that, R. Kelly, just anybody they can think of. The guy behind it, Jordan. I mean, they got Kobe Bryant over the internet like crazy right now. You know what I'm saying? Mama this, Gilbert Arenas, like all these different people, and we're not learning anything. All right. So let me get Psalms 83, verses 2 and 3. Baba Kushak.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 2 and verse 3. When you have it, say come.
Done.
All praises, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Salakia. So when you look up that the nations, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult. All right. So what does that mean? A tumult? I don't know, is that like a hat? They make some clothes? No, it's a violent and noisy commotion or disturbance. It's a loud noise. You know what I'm saying? So for instance, most of the guys used to do this. I know we used to do it as scouts in the army, right? We want to go ahead and take down Haji. So we like, oh man, we need a tumult, man. What we gonna do? So we get the Air Force, like, hey man, y'all got any F-16s, F-14s in the area? They like, yeah, Roger that. So we had a little chairman with us. So we wake him up. He up there eating Doritos and just like living life, right? But he riding with us, right? I tell you, boy, military. So we drag him out of his nice little comfort seat and be like, hey man, could you call the Air Force to swoop down and then go up? Now, when he swoops down, that's a tumult, right? Making that loud noise. And then what we're going to do, we're going to snipe somebody, or we're just going to go ahead and do something. So we used to get that. We used to get bright light. Basically, it's what they call a Kansas City shuffle. All right. So for lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Okay. So it's a commotion. So, like I said, when you look at the definition, disorderly agitation of a crowd, usually an uproar, confusion, voices, and then boom, here it goes. And this is what they do. Like I think I put it out a while back. A tumult could be, the whole R. Kelly thing. That thing went on for like 2 years. If you go back, just track all the stuff that happened when R. Kelly was on his trial, surviving R. Kelly 1 and 2, right? When all this was going on, it was so much mad stuff going on in the background. I think I put it out about the popes and stuff like that, where they was over 4,000 people was like, hey, I got touched. And then after the R. Kelly stuff, everything just went away. You know what I'm saying? So again, that's what they do. Verse 3. You
They
can
have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones.
So I brought those out just so you know that this Bible is a timeline of our history and foolery and excellences. Okay, it's not only the things that we did. I know sometimes people may think we coming on here folly, but what is Israel doing right now? I mean, it's a lot of tomfoolery going on. There are some things that's excellence, but it's a time and a place for that. Come to the Thursday class, come to our feast days and stuff. That's excellence. But we have to be out here, spitting out this truth. All you see on social media is shootouts. Eve over here fighting and twerking. I don't even know why half of these women fight. It's crazy. Jake is recording it, you know. Then the Jake's fighting, and what's about to happen when Jake fight. He can't fight no more, so he about to shoot somebody. So we just waiting for that. So we knowing about, there you go. He's dead. You know what I'm saying? Jake ain't trying to throw hands no more. But all these dudes want to go to jail. Make it make sense. So again, I brought this out, because again, the Bible is a timeline of our history, of our bad things, of our good things. We are not always spewing out all the sin in Israel has done. However, we are trying to get the sleep ones to keen into the rhetoric, the BS. this blanket of lies this country continuously give us. So the first video I will show you proves the government agencies are behind the scenes doing their thing. You know, they're constantly doing something. So let me give y'all this first video. Salakia. Well, this is I'm gonna give you a short first, and then we're gonna get into the video.
And the CIA is going crazy on this mind control stuff. Can we, it kind of evolves, and the CIA is going crazy on this mind control stuff. Can we program assassins? This is the end result of this. So I'll tell you what's on record now. They were doing experiments to see if a person could be programmed to kill on command with one of these alter ego identities. They're doing this huge experiment, and they want to see, can I get a person to go into a room, pull out a loaded gun or one that they think is loaded during these experiments, and just fire it at another person. They start these experiments and they're successful. And they officially, quote, ended these experiments just a few years before Bobby Kennedy got killed in San Francisco by Sirhan Sirhan. And Sirhan Sirhan has no memory of the event. To this day, he says he has no memory. It gets
So this is what they do. You know, they will continuously um they will continuously run these tests, do these little operations, and continuously, brainwash you. Okay. What does that have to do with the subject? It has a lot to do with the subject because they do a lot of this stuff through social media. They do it. Everybody went to go buy toilet paper. So it must be working. Now you can say, well, brother Hashar, yeah, he's talking about killing. I don't know about that. You don't know what was going on with you when you was a baby. I ain't trying to scare nobody, but a lot of our parents let us get needles. I probably had like 25 needles by the time I was 18. They used to come to our elementary school and just shoot us up with stuff. Then all of a sudden, your homeboy, you don't ever see him no more. He's gone. Rashida and all them, Tamika, they gone. You know, they will use your kids as experiments. Your kid is depressed. Oh, but I ain't gonna ruin the other videos. They know how to get you, is what I'm trying to say. And then they make it to where as though they can make it mainstream by experimenting on a few, they can get many. So we're gonna see. Play this next video. This video will be like 2 minutes and 52 seconds. And then I'll elaborate more on it, okay? Salakia. All right, here we go. Let me take my picture off.
The Fifth Estate. Good evening. I'm Eric Malley. 9 Canadians who were the unwitting victims of CIA brainwashing experiments are suing the United States government. But so far, the Canadian government has done nothing to help them.
If I were in charge of a government to whom 9 citizens that we are suing for have been brainwashed without their knowing, have had their lives impaired, and have it done by a foreign agency, undercover without the government of Canada knowing it, I would find a way to help those people instead of hindering them.
Hold on. My clubhouse time now, Salakia. All right, I got y'all back. Salakia.
4 years ago, there were some startling revelations about the activities of the CIA in Canada. The American Intelligence Agency had paid for a series of brainwashing experiments under a project codenamed MK Ultra. The tests were conducted in secret in the United States and in Canada at a mental hospital attached to McGill University. Experimental drugs, including LSD, were administered to human guinea pigs. The patients were never told that their treatment was part of a CIA experiment. 9 Canadians are now suing the US government for $1 million apiece. They charge that their lives were disrupted forever as a result of the brainwashing. Despite the fact that the CIA operated secretly in Canada to fund these medical experiments on Canadian citizens, the federal government in Ottawa has joined hands with the government in Washington to hold back vital information which might at last reveal all the sordid details.
Hold on.
You're still purchasing your lenses from your optometrist?
What are you doing? Come on.
Walk with me.
In Winnipeg, Val Orlico spends a lot of time tending her plants. It's one of the few hobbies she has left. She used to devour books and write long letters. Now she can't concentrate on a book for more than a single page, and writing a letter is beyond her. She's on medication 24 hours a day. If she wasn't married to David Orlico, an NDP member of Parliament, she might never have learned the full story of what happened to her.
That's very good. I better get out the tomatoes and the green pepper and...
In 1956, suffering from depression after childbirth, Mrs. Orlico was referred by her Winnipeg doctor to a top psychiatrist in Montreal. Unknowingly, she was about to become part of a cruel CIA experiment, codenamed MK Ultra.
MK Ultra. So, have you guys heard about that MK Ultra?
Uh,
I'm gonna speak on a little bit. Guess who mother was one of the top scientists in MK Ultra? And it's a female. She just ran for the presidency. Guess who mother was ahead of that? Yes. Kamala Harris or Kamala, whatever you want to call her. KH. Yeah. It's kind of funny, right? MK Ultra. Yeah, her mom was ahead of that, was one of the top scientists on that. And she was going back and forth to Canada. Rings a bell. So you got to put 2 and 2 together. These devils, man. But all praises that that one devil suffered. All praises. All praises. Okay. But again, what we have to realize is this is a small world. And yes, Kamala Harris, her siblings and stuff, their mom, I'm sure, was practicing on them. Just think about it. Just look at what happened to her during the presidency. She kind of flipped out, right? She kind of changed, you know? And I ain't want to keep playing it, but it basically goes into, this brainwashing, this manipulative, this getting you to do what it is that you don't want to do. They've mastered it already. Okay, so don't think that because you sending your son, he got autism, and you sending him to go sit in the office, man, you better carry your butt in there. This is one of the points of this class. Okay, Israel, stop sending our kids to these people. Okay, he might got autism. He might got ADHD, but you got to be present because the next thing you know, he stuff or whatever the case may be, Shalakia. Let me see. Said I'm on mute. All right, give me a second. Okay. Can y'all hear me on Clubhouse? Can anyone hear me on Clubhouse? Okay, con. All right. So again, they with this Ultra K, a lot of people is part of this program. you know. And if you be with somebody, it's almost like you guys know anything about alcohol, right? When you're drinking and the next morning you don't remember nothing, but you was peeing in your neighbor's yard, you kicked the cat, you punched through a window. You don't remember none of that, right? So that's called blackout. That is called a retro amnesia. So Esau has mastered how to get you into your retro amnesia, meaning you do stuff, but you don't remember it. Okay? Hold on, Salakia. Khan's sister. Yeah, one of the sisters said, one of her siblings, or Salakia, one of her children, you know, is have to talk to them people and stuff at your school. So if you put your kid in the school, uh um and they say he has autism or he has a speech impediment or he may have ADHD. Um, the funny thing about my son is he goes to school with his sister, according to these people. Now I had him tested for all of that stuff, right? But then they was trying to tell me like, oh, he might. I'm like, my daughter, I can't even go into it right now. She is something else. That my daughter was doing, he'll be on all sorts of medication. And I mean, there was a reason why my daughter was reacting and stuff like that, but that's another story. But I was like, they talk about my son because he wants to, be a boy. And they would not kick my daughter out. I mean, she's off the chain. Okay. So I'm just here to say, like, even it's a difference between the boy and the daughter. So I recommend parents when your son is about 4, um, you start teaching him how to put his hands on his legs, calming him down and stuff, because they after our boys. They will diagnose them quick. So again, you just have to make sure that you stay on top of that. And if you lose and they still put him in the stuff, just make sure he ain't taking none of that medicine. And you work with him and you make sure he's eating right and stuff like that. As far as the needle goes, them shots and stuff, a lot of that comes from that measles. I think it's the measles shot. um, the measles, not the chicken pox, but it's definitely the measles is the one that really gives them autism. And then when they're born, they want to give them hepatitis C and stuff. Like, who the heck has hepatitis? So we as parents, we have to pay attention to this stuff. Now, again, if you tell them no, they can say you're crazy and lock you up and stuff. So you have to be tactful in how you do things. Because you literally have 3 years, right? Because pre-K start at 4. Unless you got like a genius at home, he can go at 3. But pre-K start at 4, right? So you literally have about 3 years to come up with a plan. You get the religion exemption where you contact one of the elders and stuff, or you can say he was allergic to something. You let him get one of those needles that's whatever, that's not really dangerous. And then you look at the ingredients. This is what I did. You look at the ingredients and stuff, and you come up and boom, he's allergic, and then everything's good. Okay. But there's ways to get around it. But what you don't want to do is say, my son ain't getting this, or my daughter ain't getting. You don't own your son. He has a social security. You already did the birth certificate. That's a whole different class. Once you get that social security, that birth certificate, all that stuff, these aren't your kids no more. They belong to the government. But that's another class. I ain't trying to get all into that. So again, to be on the safe side, you have 3 years to figure out how to exempt your child from taking certain needles, okay? And not every child, you know, um, has it, but they have something called force autism, or my bad, what is it called? Um, oh man, what's it? It's a name for it because they're just putting it on you. Okay, they putting it on that child. Some of these kids really don't have it, you know, and then the ones that don't have it and they're taking that medicine, if they really don't have it, it messes them up and stuff like that. So anyway, Salakia. But hopefully, sister, everything goes well with your son, and by the grace of the Most High, he gets cured and stuff like that. Um, so So like I ain't want to go all too much into it. But again, you guys saw the video, right? She's running around here. She's talking about I'm the press. You know, I done had my first kid, and they done put the Ultra K on her. So guys, look up Kamala Harris. Her mother was a head scientist. That's why her husband ain't with her and stuff. She probably tried to put him on it. Or he probably is on it. She got him just taking trips forever. You know what I mean? Anyway, so yeah, no folly. But yeah, so I wanted to just touch on the Ultra K a little bit. And with that, they're able to control anybody they come in contact with. So again, when your aunt, your cousin, if they kind of off and you sending them to go to appointments and stuff, they can use them, okay? This is what this class is on, okay? Is social media shaping our minds? Yes. Yes, it is. So I wanted to bring that out because it gets a little bit more in depth about, the brainwashing. And again, you know, why is this happening to us? Why is all Black kids have ADHD all of a sudden? You know, have mental issues. Let me get Second Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. Okay. This scripture may put a little bit into it a little bit. Second is so we can let you guys know there's nothing new under the sun. This is what our people was doing back then, and this is what these heathen nations was doing. Okay. So Second Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. Baba Kusha.
This is Second Chronicles chapter 7 and verse 14. When you have it, say come.
Good.
Come, if my people which are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and will heal their land.
That's what they do. But look, man, I'm about to go ahead and I'm about to light this spliff, this blunt, this swisher, this whatever they smoking out there. About to do ahead and do a vape. You know what I'm saying, man? That don't matter. That's corny. So we have to humble ourselves. What's corny is you're not going to wake up. Or if you do, you're going to have bronchitis. You're going to have all these different things that come to you, and then pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. We have to understand Israel, nothing new under the sun. These other nations always trying to put us in the trick bag. Now, this account in Second Chronicles is basically, this is when they had the feast dedication and Most High promise and warning to his people. He's talking to, King Solomon and stuff. So just like your father, right? He already knows your demise, but listen to say, yes, Dad, I will go straight to the store and come right back. I'm gonna go straight to the store. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come right back. 2 hours later, he already know. He already know what you're doing. We already know when I sent my kids out earlier today. They failed the mission completely, but I already knew they was gonna fail. You know, you,
Like,
come.
I just wanted to add in when you were talking about the vapes. Just the other day they passed the law, like any vape is a felony now.
For real?
Oh yeah,
All praises. That's the
oh, crazy.
John. All praises. Yeah. I mean, our government been at this tobacco company. It's the Most High whipping them in there to get that tobacco something else, boy. So he stays on them. All praises for that. But yeah, our people, man, is just we know as fathers, we know as parents what our children want to do. We already know. We see it in their face. So you're going to spend the night over Gerard in them house? Uh-huh. So let me call his mom. They already set it up. Because guess what Gerard mom is? She the cool mom. He got the cool dad. We all did this. You know, man, we about to go to that party. And what happened? Your dad is right there, standing in front of the door so you can't walk into the party, or he in the car, or he's standing there. He may let you go in. Been there, done that. That happened to me. Yeah, she dragged me out of the party. My mom's crazy, man. But I don't think he got shot up though. But that ain't the point. The point is that we have all been young. We've all been, defiant and stuff like that. And the Most High is tired of it, and He's telling us, "Listen, humble yourselves." But if not, I'm gonna continue to let social media shape your kids, because that's who it's affecting. I mean, unless some of us out there doing a water challenge, I wish I would get my old butt up there and run across some crates, and have somebody throw some cold water on my face, you know. But who they getting? They getting our kids. You out here working 18 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? Listen, the strong parent needs to be home. Whoever that is, that's who need to be in the crib, especially us fathers. Okay. We can't be on the phone conversating because these kids out here are just crazy. All right. And they're being shaped, and they come in the house and shoot and kill you. Like that young man did that was like 16. He killed everybody in the house. I think he was like 16. He just lost his mind. Now, I don't know how they didn't see the signs, but apparently he just lost it and just killed everybody. And I think his little brother lived. His little brother begged him. He said he'd give him like $40 or something. He shot him too, you know. And it's a sad story. You guys can Google it and stuff like that. And there's tons of stories out there. Those two black girls, I think they were twins. They killed their mom, beat her to death, and dragged her in the street and left her there. That was in Georgia. I think that was like 4 or 5 years ago. Wow. What's going on? What's going on is you have to stop letting social media shape these kids' minds. Okay? You letting that kid have a phone. You think that kid up there being tolerable, being obedient, looking at that phone. He up there thinking of a million things. All he's seeing is violence. All she's seeing is violence. Okay? So again, we gotta humble themselves and pray and seek my face. Not pray to, Halloween, Halloween, pray to Santa Claus, that pervert. You know what I'm saying? He up there got little kids sitting on his lap. What grown man with a kid sitting on his lap? Talking about what you want for Christmas. You got the Easter bunny, he in his hot suit hopping around. You got kids looking for eggs, So again, all this is doing, social media is shaping our minds. And it starts with the Easters. It starts with the 4th of July or 4th of July. It starts with that. All right. So again, we have to stay humble and stay away from um just understanding this world. Let me get the classic. Let me get Colossians 2:8.
Salaki, could you say that again?
Yeah, let me get the book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 2, and verse 8. When you got to say, "Con."
Good.
I got to find it. All right, I think it was. So is Colossians the New or the Old Testament?
New.
You said chapter 2, verse what?
Chapter 2, verse 8. Yeah, the best thing to do is download it on your phone, the Strong's Bible.
No, I got it. I just don't go to that book a lot. That's all.
Oh, okay.
I got about 4 Bibles on my phone.
Right.
Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
We have to stop following these other nations. Stop following your ops. And your ops is not someone that lives in your neighborhood. That is called self-hate. I'm sick of this. This term is killing me. I'm like, what do you mean your ops? Your opposition? Yeah, what are y'all talking about? Ops. How you got ops and we all live in the same neighborhood? And this is our fault because as parents, we ain't introducing ourselves to each other. We turning into the generation of individual parents. I don't even know if you can say parents. Everybody's individual. You know what I'm saying? I met a few of my son's parents at the schools and stuff like that, you know. And my daughter, you know, same here. You know, I met a few. I'm guilty of it too. You know, because I just, you know, I want them to go to their cousin's house and stuff like that. But we gotta get out, guy. We gotta do better. You know what I'm saying? We can't, we change. Like I said last time, our kids are not playing over our other kids' homes, and you know, we're not meeting these other parents, you know, and then you hear on social media, here we go, social media shaping the minds. My one of anyway, so someone I know, I just say that, "Well, I'm not gonna let my daughter go nowhere because it was a story where the neighbor moved downstairs and he came up there and said his son was having a birthday party. And I let my son go down there. And then when I went down there with my husband, they wouldn't open the door. I opened the door. I found the remains of my son in the closet because they called the cops and stuff. I don't know if that's a true story. Then it was the one where the guy was molesting all the girls at the birthday party, right? So, okay. So we're just gonna have one incident and we're gonna say, I'm never letting my child go nowhere. But we're gonna let him go to summer camp. We're gonna let him go to school. We're gonna let him go to Catholic school, knowing what these priests do. Some of us on here were Catholics, you know what I'm saying, at one point. So my point is you let your kids, so what's safe? Is school safe? You know, they having same-sex bathrooms, and you know, some of them teachers is touching on these kids. You know what I'm saying? Is school safe? Is the church safe? Is sending your kid to summer camp? What's safe? Is sports safe? The guy from Penn State was banging all the college dudes. And you think he was the only one? He the only one that got caught. After he got caught, they did some work, boy. They went ahead and fixed that. And they was like, all right, no more. You think these coaches ain't doing stuff to these young men out here that play football that come from nothing, that's depressed, that have mental issues, but they can run a ball or they can shoot a ball? You think that's not happening? Oh, it's about to come out. Now the gymnastic guy came out. He done had like over 400 girls and stuff like that from gymnastics, you know. So this stuff is slowly starting to come out. But you guys gotta understand, it's not an isolated situation. They try to put it on one man. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you look at the P. Diddy case, they're just trying to put it on one man. But it was multiple people that was involved in that. But see, the problem is we getting spoiled through philosophy. He out there hanging with all these pervert white boys and white men that's teaching him how to do homosexual and put fear in people's hearts. And he's going against his own people. You know, his own people is the ops. Yeah, that's who he's doing it to. You know what I'm saying? He people in his neighborhood. He's taking these gifted, talented young men and women off the streets and going ahead having these freak offs and stuff with all this baby oil, you know, because they want that money. And, you know, that money talk, BS walk. And you know, you're not supposed to do that to your brother. Let me get the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 17. Because this self-hate, you having ops, it all goes back to the social media. I mean, what's on social media right now? I'm not making this up. What do y'all see on social media? Us killing each other. I mean, I walk out streets, it's not happening. I go around the corner, it's not happening. I see my brothers, it's not happening. But social media, every time I turn out, bow, 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 I hate you, nigga, bow, all them like, man, what the heck? Yeah, girl, what's up, girl? Like, where they finding these videos at? And who posting them? Why are you posting a shootout? You getting ready to go to jail. They have what is called a social media cop section. in the police department. It's all social media. Anyway, so Book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 17.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 17. When you got to say con.
God.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt not in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
God. So you saying, Brother Hashar, bro, what are you talking about? Thou shalt not hate thy brother. That's everybody in the world. So for you people who don't really subscribe to this Israelite understanding of the Bible, the true understanding of the Bible, okay, there was no snake and there was no apple. I know your mouth is open like, oh my God, there was no snake, no apple. Yes, that is not true. That is another story, okay? That is another class. But sorry to bust your bubble. But for those of us who understand what this is, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. And this is one of the reasons why everybody cannot stand us. This is why they make us do this self-hate. This is why they keep shaping our minds because of this scripture. Let me get the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 2.
This is Leviticus 19 and 2 when you have it.
Verse 1 and 2, Salakia, verse 1 and 2.
Okay, verse 1 and 2. I got it, son.
Come.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speaking to all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, ye shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy.
See, that's possessive. For I, the Lord your God. You know what I'm saying? He ain't say, speak unto the congregation of all nations. He didn't say that. And this is why we get hated on. This is why, the Most High is very crucial because he shows us love and he does everything for us and he puts he gives us the earth, everything, But when we go ahead and we mess up, we get punished. But again, even without us messing up, these other nations, they can't stand us because they ain't us. Can you imagine hearing the children of Israel far away and they all celebrating, they in the wilderness doing their thing, feast days. You can hear them rumbling and stuff. You know what I'm saying? When we was out there in the wilderness and we about to fight different people and stuff, and they hear us getting all hyped, that's what like when you go on a block and there's a block party, but it ain't your block. You hear everybody, they all vibing and everybody's doing, you know what I'm saying? You feel kind of like, oh man, I don't know if I can go on that block. They all loud, they doing their thing, So again, that was only for us. And they do everything in their power to shape our minds by this social media. Because this is the last, in my opinion, this is the last try to disrupt Israel. It's through this social media. It's so much stupid stuff going on. If you actually track down in social media, some of this stuff is fake. Some of this stuff is scripted. Some of this stuff is like 10 years old. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in the video dead. Remember that whole thing with that girl in Chicago, right? I ain't gonna lie. I was watching that thing for like 3 months. It had like part 19. I'm like, oh man, it was like R. Kelly trapped in the closet. It had me. I'm not gonna lie. I was all involved in that girl getting trapped in the freeze. I'm like, man, what happened? Then they had a part two. She was going, running around the hotel, walking drunk. Part three, you saw her go in the freezer. Part four, you seen somebody. It was just so crazy. It was so intense. We were all glued to that YouTube. Well, I was. We were glued to it, like, oh man, what happened to her? Oh man, and then like everybody died that was in that video down there. Like I kept up with it. I had just got an army. I wasn't working, so I was keeping up with all this stuff. And like, man, everybody, like darn near everybody in that video died. if you kept up with it, about the girl who was in Chicago and they found her in the freezer, and then they found out that they took her intestines, but then that was a lie. But then the girl who was in there that gave her the drink, she's dead. Then the boy who recorded, he did. Then the girl, another girl was in there. She was in it was so much part two, part three. It was something like part 19, right? Then come to find out there was a cult of people, of white people, who was getting black people to go ahead and get other black people to come to little parties, and they would kill them and take their intestines and kidneys and stuff like that, right? This is the thing that was going on. And then all of a sudden it like disappeared. Is social media shaping our minds? Now, some people say them people are alive. Some people say they're dead. You know, I don't have proof. Some say the girl, because there was no blood or anything. You seen the cops and stuff there. Some say that was just actors. Some say, that girl's in the Bahamas somewhere living. Who knows? But this social media will shape your mind, right? That had everybody chasing their tail. Now, what was going on when that was happening? I don't really know what was going on. Some war was going on. They passed something, some bill or something. If you go back and do the research, that's the whole point to that. So again, reason why I brought these scriptures out is because we supposed to love our brothers. We supposed to love our sisters. Okay. We got to stop talking about this ops because of this social media. It's not, most of this stuff is not real. It's nothing but actors and, actresses, and they're just doing stuff and they putting this out. I mean, look at Tubi. Tubi's a prime example of it. Some of the stuff on Tubi, I'm like, man, is this real? But it's a movie, but it looks so fake, you know? And then the stuff, it's just so much stuff going on. So he's talking to us. He gave us the laws, statutes, and commandments for us to love our brother. So if anybody watching this video and say, well, it says thou shalt not hate thy brother. No, it's not talking about other nations. If you jump up, that was verse 17. If you jump up to verse 1, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel. We just sometimes can't believe that we're the greatest. I don't know how. Every white, Chinese, Asian person, well, I said Chinese, every Asian, every East Indian, every white, every Scandinavian, every Hawaiian is all wearing a black man's shoes. And his name was Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or LeBron's. Who is wearing Jason Lin, that little Chinese dude that was hot for 30 seconds from the New York Knicks? Who's wearing, what's that dude name? The real tall dude, Chow Mein, whatever his name was. Who's wearing his shoe? Who's wearing Dirk's shoe? He's German, I think. You know what I'm saying? Who's wearing, I don't know if anybody wore Larry Bird. Larry Bird was good. He was good. I ain't gonna hate. Larry Bird was good. But I don't know nobody that was wearing a shoe. You know what I'm saying? Uh I'm giving, some of y'all don't know the NBA. These are NBA players. They call this dude, his name is Jason something, they call him White Chocolate. Who is wearing his shoe? But everybody's wearing Michael Jordan. They wearing Michael Jordan's shoe so much they killing. But it says, thou shalt not hate thy brother, because we keep growing up with this Christian rhetoric and it's keep making it sound like we're not. Okay. If you jump up to verse 19, chapter 19, verse 1, it tells you, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the congregation of the children of Israel. So is social media shaping our minds? Yes, it is. It's shaping our minds. All right. So I wanted to bring those videos out to let our brothers and sisters know that there is an out. And you hook up with us, your friendly neighborhood Israelite, we'll get you squared away. You ain't got to join HOI. You can follow us through the videos and stuff like that. Do the feast days. We screaming at the TV while the humble servants of the Most High down there 4th of July. You know what I'm saying? Putting their lives on the line. You think these agents ain't following these brothers? You think these agents ain't running their license plates and stuff like that, doing certain things? It's coming. You know what I'm saying? Trump passed something. My dad was telling me that he's saying that the religious community is getting ready to start getting invaded by ICE because we're hiding. And he mentioned the Israelites that we're hiding immigrants. Like, what are you talking about? Who hiding immigrants? Where? Is he talking to Jeff Alstein and Creflo Dollar? You know what I'm saying? So he's saying he's going to start, and hopefully he do. He start getting rid of these wicked churches. He start burning them down, tearing them down. We don't need these churches. You know what I'm saying? So there's just a lot of turmoil going on in this office. Trump got a lot of stuff on his plate, but it ain't going to stop the Most High plagues. His humble servants, his soldiers, putting out this word every day. So again, we are the chosen. So again, we can hold on. All right, Shalakia. We are the chosen, and we cannot continue to let these people shape our children's mind. Okay, we can't do it. All right, so let's get this last video up here. It's kind of long, so I'm gonna break it up and play it for 2 minutes and it's 5 minutes long. But you know Israel, I don't want y'all falling asleep, you know. But it's a good one. It's gonna go into the what this topic is about. And I guys want you to understand this is what they do. Okay. All you have to do is just Google doing social media tests, people following the group, and this video will pop up. All right. And you're gonna be amazed. This one is crazy. But it's the truth. So let's go ahead and select it.
But an experiment is not a public opinion poll. It examines behavior under the pressure of social. But an experiment is not a public opinion poll. It examines behavior under the pressure of social forces, as the experiment of Solomon Asch reveals.
The experiment you'll be taking part in today involves the perception of lengths of lines. As you can see here, I have a number of cards, and on each card there are several lines. Your task is a very simple one. You're to look at the line on the left and determine which of the three lines on the right is equal to it in length. All right, we'll proceed in this order. You'll give.
Now, I don't know if you guys on Clubhouse on Zoom, but it's literally 6 people in the class. And what he's doing is he's saying there's a line, just picture a paper, and it has one line to the far right, and then it has 3 other lines. Salakia. It has one line to the far left, and it has 3 other lines to the right. And by that line, it has a number by the line. And the line is a certain length. It's either 1 inch, 2 inch, or whatever, right? So whatever line is to the left, if it's 1 inch, they may mark it 2 or they may mark it 3. So everybody has to use, you can look and see that, okay, that line to the left matches the number that has 3 with it. Okay. So just there we go.
Only one of the people in the group is a real subject, the 5th person with the white t-shirt. The others are confederates of the experimenter and have been told to give wrong answers on some of the trials. The experiment begins uneventfully as subjects give their judgments. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3. But on the 3rd trial, something happens. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. The subject denies the evidence of his own eyes and yields to group influence. What? Asch found subjects went along with the group on 37% of the critical trials. What? But he found through interviews that they went along with the group for different reasons. 1. They must be right. There are 4 of them and 1 of me. 1. This subject's yielding is based on a distortion of his judgment. He genuinely believes that the group is correct.
1,
1,
1,
2,
1,
2,
2.
2,
I know they're wrong, but why
So-
should I make waves?
2. In this case, the subject knows he is right, but goes along to avoid the discomfort of disagreement with the group. Here, the distortion is at the level of his response.
2,
2,
2, 2.
So you see, by that, like by his body language, you can tell he was fighting it, right? Because he had his arms folded. So everybody know, body language, when your arms is folded, that means you're not trying to, you're being defensive, or you're trying to focus, or you're sometimes emotional, or it's a sign of authority, different variations. And then, the last one, you just may have your arms folded. But people have their arms folded normally for a reason. Is one of those four, maybe it's six, but definitely one of those four. And so when he folds his arms, he's like, man, too, these guys are stupid. He didn't want to speak out. And this is where we start talking about, is social media shaping our minds? For the life of me, I can't understand why everybody hates Trump. And he's the most racist president ever that's served in America. And I'm like, but the first 26 owned slaves. I know we wasn't then. I know we wasn't back. I know we was not back there then, but it's like, I'm like, what is going on with everybody? I mean, my dad's 83. I'm like, Dad, you 83, bro. He ain't even out here in these streets no more. What you know about Donald Trump? I was like, Dad, do you even know what cap mean? He don't sit down somewhere. He's a Democrat till he die. It's like, oh, we should have. I was like, Dad, she's not our people. Yeah, but Democrats. I'm like, you just gonna ride with the Democrats, huh? So me and my dad, we get into this all the time, this debate. And he didn't say nothing when Biden was in. I was like, Dad, Biden said the N-word. Oh, well, and I said, Biden got all our family locked up. Oh, well, and my dad told me, well, he apologized. I was like, really? I said, this man can't even walk right now. So you think, yeah, he can. I mean, the level of the brainwashing is insane. So watching this, everybody's going with the group. The dude was kind of frustrated because he didn't want to stand out. Like he can clearly see it. And this is what's going on with our people, especially they aiming it to the young people. They don't have the wisdom or the knowledge. So it's really easy to get to them. But some of our adults have been programmed too. You know what I'm saying? Let me continue.
In the previous experiment, the naive subject stood alone against the group. In this variation, Ash gave the naive subject a partner, here seated in the third position, who also gives the correct response.
1, 1, 2, 1, 2.
With a partner, yielding drops to only 5% of the critical trials compared to 37% without a partner. Although subjects report warmth and good feeling toward the partner, they typically deny that he played a role in their own independence. The partnership variation shows that much of the power of the group came not merely from its numbers, but from the unanimity of its opposition. When that unanimity is punctured, the group's power is greatly reduced. Sometimes we
And this is sorry to keep cutting in, but this brings a very great point. It was 7 of them in there, and 2 of them was put in there, whatever, and the one agreed with the other subject. Now, mind you, it's 7 people, 6 of them know what's going on, but 1 don't. But he agreed with the other guy, so he's helping him out, and the other guy feels normal now that it's one person. Man, I'm telling you, Esau's the devil that the Bible speaks of. This dude is conniving. All right, cunning, slick, but In the end, he's definitely losing. But this is what he goes and he does things like this. This is why half these brothers and sisters in this city that we in this country called America, that's in the city, half of these brothers are informants. Hello, they are working for Esau. You know what I'm saying? Some of our relatives work for Esau. They're informants. We know it. We just don't mess with them. Like, yo, man, you can't come over my crib. You know what I mean? It's like, look, I already know what you're doing, bro. You done set up Tyrone and them. Man, get out of here. I love you, but stay away from me. And that's real talk. That's what it is. You know, I had a family member come to me about some stuff that was going on. I don't condone in his lifestyle. He was offered a plea deal. I was like, bro, you're gonna have to take that on the chin. I was like, because as soon as you start talking, you're always going to belong to Esau. This is what these brothers don't get. Okay, you get a lobster and a steak. We don't do lobster, so let me change that, Shalakia. You get a red snapper and a steak. You know what I'm saying? And then, he calls you when he needs you. You sneaking around, you crawling under the car, you got a burner phone, you got to meet him all the way outside of your city, and some stuff you have to do. It does just stop doing stupid stuff, guys. You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to offer you a plea deal, and then you're going to become an informant for life. That job never ends. And at any given time, he can show your paperwork to your ops and they're going to come them. It don't even make sense to keep trusting Esau and they keep doing 360 deals and they keep doing this. And you out here telling on other people who was doing the same thing you doing. I'm not condoning crime. No, we're not condoning it. But what we're saying is if you're going to do something, you know what I'm saying? And you think you can't get away with it or whatever the case may be, you have to use your brain, have to think righteously. They're going to use you and they're going to set you up. And eventually you're going to be put in some jail cell under the jail. Okay. So again, they may send somebody at you that you may think is your friend. That's the point to that. They may send somebody who you think is your friend that's helping you making decisions. And the next thing you got 6 people taking you to your grave. Shalakia.
Go along with the group because what they say convinces us they are right. This is called informational conformity. But sometimes we conform because we are apprehensive that the group will disapprove if we are deviant. This is called normative conformity. The strength of the normative factor is shown in another variation carried out by Ash. In this variation, the subject is told that because he had arrived late, you would have to write his answers. Subjects in this private response experiment are exposed to the same amount of misleading information as other subjects, but they are immune from any possible criticism by the group. One. And this enormously reduces the pressure to conform. Conformity drops by 2/3. Ash's experiment is a classic. It reveals how people will deny what they see and submit to group pressure. It allows us not only to observe conformity, but to study the conditions that increase or reduce its occurrence.
Kind. So, all this stuff is Salakia. All this stuff is kind. Let me read some of the messages. Salakia. Kind of like the sister shared. There's a show called Mind Games that did a similar experiment. And a group of people, are in a doctor's office and the bell sounds and people stand up. In the end, everyone stands up at the sound of the bell without knowing why they are even standing. And everyone went along with it. They've been in there, like I say, everything is being revealed. You know, all these lies, all these deceitfulness is all being revealed, because Esau is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right. And you know, these in con to the Salakia people down there in Dallas right now. They're getting some rain, so let's keep them in our prayers that nothing serious happens, that it's not flooding any of our fellow Israelites and stuff. But again, with that video was crazy, and they will always continuously try to play us. You know what I'm saying? So in the video, they had a word called conformity. All right. So conformity, a compliance with standards, rules, or laws, behavior in accordance with socially accepted conventions or standards. Practices of the Church of England. And the church is always going to be in the middle of it. You know what I'm saying? And they giving you the answers, right? And why they put the church in there? Because the church is the devil that the Bible speak of. These people went in there and changed everything out, touching on kids. Whenever you think of the church, you literally think about kids being touched. That's crazy. Or you think about the gay music director, or people dancing and flipping, or people speaking in tongues. When you think of the church, I'm just being real. You don't think of, oh man, it saved my life. And some people do have testimonies where they ran in the church and I don't know, the guys were after you, they ran by it or whatever. Man, they ain't no testimony. They just ain't think you're dumb stuff and running the church. You know what I'm saying? So we got to stop giving these fake, testimonies about, well, I did this, I did. No, it just wasn't your time. Okay. You were out here being a demon. You was on demon time. That's just like, guys saying, oh man, yo, thank you, Jesus. And he got hooked up with a girl. Man, Jesus ain't thanking you for messing with some girl, but this is the logic of people, you know, and our people, and most of the people, especially in the world. You know what I'm saying? So when you're in the world, you think Jesus hooked you up, got your phone number. He put this, I don't know, this bag in front of you and stuff like that. Satan rewards all the time. Okay. So again, they will always hate what they cannot be. And I know you're like, man, so this class is on social media and mind shaping our minds and stuff. I was given a lot of scriptures and stuff like that, because they will always hate what they cannot be. And this is why we are hated on. And it'll make sense on why now they are trying social media. And before I read the scripture, ask yourself, there's a couple things that's out, and you got to ask yourself, how come this is not viral, on the TV? All right.
A new problem is also piling up, and neighbors aren't happy about this at all. People are illegally dumping stuff at sites all across the city. CBS News Philadelphia reporter Madeline Wright is live in the.
That's what's going on in Philadelphia right now. All right. This mayor, she's out of control. All right. She won't give the sanitation workers a raise. So now they up there, protesting and not protesting. It's like it. Oh man. Yeah, it's like it. Somehow I got rid of it. Give me a second. But they up there protesting, about what's going on. And it's a where is it at? Here we go. It's a shame about, the thing that's going on in Philadelphia, because if you know anything about trash and what's going on and stuff, you got to ask yourself, when these trash Salakia, when this trash is out there, hold on, give me a second.
6 times a week, and I swear.
It's a commercial. Give me a second. So this trash is out there, right? They got something called dysentery and typhoid. And all this stuff comes from, rats and stuff, being out there. You have that's them eating the food, right? eating the food, because this is Philadelphia. It's like any other city up there, up north, whatever. They got little small streets and stuff like that, alleyways. So guess who's coming out? The roaches and the rats and the possums, all of them, right? So they're eating all this food, and guess what they're doing? They're pooping. And what does the poop do? It starts to have gases and bacteria, and then some of those rats and roaches and stuff, they're gonna get infected. They're gonna get, they're gonna get in fights and stuff by alley cats and stuff like that, right? And it's gonna cause a probably a plague that's gonna happen in Philadelphia if they don't clean this up. And it's hot. And then guess what lands in the poop? Yep, flies. So now when the flies land in the poop, they're gonna go land in the trash, and guess what the flies are gonna create? Maggots. You know what I'm saying? And this is crazy. This has been going on for like a few weeks, and it's hot. But they're not. This is not something that's viral, you know. So let me show you something else real quick. This one should be on.
A new justice, back with our law and justice lead and Elon Musk's favorite story, a new Justice Department memo reveals that the Justice Department has no evidence that convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein blackmailed powerful people or kept a client list or was murdered in prison. The memo, first reported by Axios, is a sharp turn from the Trump administration's insistence that there was much more to uncover. Even Attorney General Pam Bondi pushed that theory while in office. Take a look.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
Now, she said it's sitting on her desk. So, what the white man said. So everybody's saying, well, she said it was sitting on her desk. Where's the list? So the white man says, oh, we said that the packet of Jeffrey Epstein was sitting on the desk. We never said the list. We talking about his file. And what we found was nothing on the list. And in the file, we found a bunch of child pornography. So we're not going to show that to anybody. But they was showing the R. Kelly thing. I'm just saying. I never seen it, but everybody saw it. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people saw it. There we go. And this is what the devil do. His words are smooth like butter. He talks with a split tongue, and he's ready to go to war. It's crazy how we just sit here and listen to that. That goes into everybody. See, they're going into that, like the whole shaping the minds, but they're not making that viral because they can't get out of that. They can't get out of that trick bag. Did you know Jeffrey Epstein was a school teacher? He was a school teacher at 21 years old. Has anyone ever had a school teacher? He was a math school teacher at 21 years old. Has anyone on this live ever had a teacher at 21 years old? I had 24, 25. So let's say somebody graduated at 16. And then they
at 22. I ain't gonna lie to you. I did.
22?
22.
Okay.
I turned 23. I think that was like my English teacher back in the day, long time ago.
Now that can make sense because let's say she graduated at 17 and then she went to school, the college, and then her last year, I think some of them are allowed to do internships because they have to get.
But it wasn't like a regular teacher; it was like a substitute.
Right. She was like the aide.
Right.
So because she's doing that to get her residency and stuff like that. That makes sense. This dude was a bona fide teacher at a high school at 21 years old. That's crazy. And then nobody knows how he became a billionaire. I ain't gonna make this about Epstein, but nobody knows how he became a billionaire. But he got in trouble at the school for having relations with young girls. This dude's been this dude forever. We all think he's an agent. Some say he's an agent for Israel, all this other stuff. So at the end of the day, all this stuff should be going viral, right? About this list and all this other stuff. But what's going viral? The Carmela Anthony thing. I don't know. It's not looking good for that case. I don't know what's going. There's so much stuff going on with that. What else is going viral? You got this just Trump being a racist, this P. Diddy thing. This won't stay off the news. Like, why is this on the news every day? But we know why. Uh, Cassie is just not taking no accountability, at all. None of the sisters is really saying anything about Cassie. They considering her to be the victim for 10 whole years. That's crazy. You know, it's just amazing. And we're not trying to make this a him and her thing, but this is what we just watched, the ASH program, whereas though the majority of the group goes with it, and then everybody just flows. So I wanted to put that out there because this is not what's going viral. But anyway, it's my last scripture. So this is why, well, my last couple scriptures. This is why they will always hate us, because they ain't us. And it all started in Deuteronomy. All right. So let's get the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1. Chapter 1 through verses 1. Chapter 1, verses 1 through 5. Baba Kushab.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, 1 through 5, when you guys say come.
Good.
Done. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
Say that again. Salakia, say that again.
These be the words that which Moses spake unto all Israel.
And he'll put it right on the air right
on
here.
this side, Jordan in the wilderness, and the plain over against the Red Sea, between Paran and Tophel, and Laban, and Hazara, and Dizahab.
Verse 3, verse 3.
Verse 3, and it came to pass in the 40th year, in the 11th month, on the first day of the month, that Moses spake unto the children of Israel.
Moses spoke to who?
The children of Israel.
God.
According to until all that the Lord have given him, and in commandment unto them. After he had slain Sihon, and the king of the Amorites which dwelt in Eshbon, the Og, the king of Bashan, which dwelt Astareth in Idris.
In verse 5?
Verse 5, okay. On this side Jordan, in the land of Moab, began Moses to declare this law, saying,
God. So again, this is why they hate us. They were not invited to the festivities, to the covenant. That got to be a hurtful thing to see that. They heard us out there. You know what I'm saying? They knew where we were at, but they wasn't invited to the cookout. Just like Eminem, Elvis Presley, the Beatles, none of them was invited to the cookout. And whoever the greatest country singer is, Randy Travis, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So these guys are never invited to the cookout. They hate us because they ain't us. And, heathens take it. If you're a heathen out there, you need to take this up with the Most High. Stop staying on our heels about what we don't have control over. You can't make something, straight this crooked. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got your own guides. Leave us alone. Leave Mike, and Teresa alone. Let them be. Let them come home to Israel. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Salakia. Sorry about that. Y'all hear me on okay, y'all can hear me. Fine. So like the brother he read Deuteronomy. I don't know how long y'all was going off of there. But hold on, Salakia. Yeah, Slovakia. Yeah, my phone. I'm at 5%. So I gotta make sure that I charge it up. Slovakia. I was wondering why Clubhouse kept cutting out.
Salaki, can I ask you a question?
Come on.
All right, would this line up with the subject that you haven't, with the Donald Trump thing, right? It's a lot of people that don't think Donald Trump is a racist. Like they actually think he was like for black people, especially like with a lot of the stuff that he did in the past for black people, as far as you know what I'm saying. Some of the things he did with the music and something like that right there. But couldn't that be part of the propaganda and the setup for now? I'm just asking.
Well,
I mean, if not, could it be looked at like that?
he's a white man. He's not for us. He's done a lot of things for certain blacks, certain black colleges. He gave black businesses loans and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But like, if you watch the 12 Years a Slave, the white man saved old boy from being home. Because remember, he got in an argument. You saw the movie 12 Years a Slave? Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes they come to the rescue. That don't mean that they good for us. So that's a very good point. So of course, he's on a mission. And Donald Trump understands that this kingdom is falling and he's trying to get his people in order. You know what I mean? That's what I see. He's trying to get them in order. He like, look, man, we need to do this. He's trying to get Israel because he sees something different. He knows that their demise is coming and it's coming to an end. And he's trying to be out the Bible. He's trying, this is prophetic. You can't, this eschatology, bro. You can't change it. So yes, he's part of it. You know what I'm saying? He's coming in here to smooth things out. I mean, just by him coming in there, is he liked by a lot of black people? He's liked, he's he's tolerated by blacks that know their history. He's tolerated by educated blacks who know who he really is. Is he liked? No. But he's a Republican. So it's part of that propaganda. Black people are not supposed to like Republicans. On the flip side, if the man was a Democrat, he would be loved by. I mean, to me, Biden was worse. It's like this: you got the French and you got the Spanish. Who was worse, the conquistador or the Frenchman? Some say the French. I'll say the French. Some say the Spaniard. But at the end of the day, they all Esau. You know what I'm saying? I mean, was the Germans bad or was the British? At the end of the day, they all Esau. So they know how to come at us with this smooth, this smooth talk. You know what I'm saying? And so, yes, I believe he's part of this whole thing, and it's all propagandized. It's all here to put us to sleep and stuff like that. Some of us, especially as Israelites, yeah, we don't like that man. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that man. He's not of my nation. But I
Uh,
understand,
uh,
huh?
I was just saying, because the reason why I asked that because I just feel like they knew the stuff going on with Trump now, man. I feel like they knew years ago that I think they kind of made this happen. You know what I'm saying? Like they already knew he was gonna be president twice and have these felonies and all this stuff that's come with Trump. I just really feel like it was planned. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't no. It just
Accident
happened like that.
time. Well, presidents are not um, presidents aren't elected, they're chosen. So I'll do a class on that one of these days. Um, I get with Cap and see. Maybe I do it next week since it's all fresh in everybody's minds. Yes, people, presidents are selected, they're not elected. You know what I'm saying? Once you understand that, just like Obama, Barry, he's related to George Bush. That's his cousin. They used to play together in Hawaii. There's a lot of stuff out there. You know what I'm saying? And if some of y'all watch the Candace Owens, yeah, she's married to Esau. I don't know what a brother did to her, but that's the only thing I don't like about that young lady and all that disrespectful stuff she said about George Floyd. But other than that, she be making up some good points. Again, people, you ain't gotta, love her, but she has some good information. You know what I'm saying? And it's worth researching. So again, just because you don't like somebody, don't mean you can't listen to them. Because sometimes they say something that's like, oh, okay, I needed to hear that. You know. So again, with Trump, oh yeah, they put him in there. I mean, honestly, who else was going to win? Honestly, who else are they going to put in there? That wasn't going to cause. They're trying to control the narrative. This white man is the devil that the Bible speaks. He thinks he can just keep putting people in there, and it won't be no race war. It won't be no World War III. It won't be this. He can't stop it. He can't stop his own kids from drowning in Texas at Camp Masick or something like that. All them kids are washed up. He can't control it, and he's getting frustrated because he didn't get them laws, statutes, and commandments. He's salty about that. So he's trying to take as many as us out as possible. Man, it's probably a freaking high number of informants right now in every city across America, about trying to take our brothers and sisters out, all this foolishness that's going on, all this shooting and gang violence. It doesn't even make no sense. You're like, man, I thought they was talking about peace. Then all of a sudden, everybody starts shooting each other because they don't want no peace. They want to keep putting out these movies. You think they ain't working on a movie right now? They wanted to do New Jack City so bad. Wesley was like, I'm not doing it. And I think that's one of the reasons why they ruined his career. Besides that whole thing with him and that producer, they wanted Wesley to do New Jack City bad. So we have to keep up with all this stuff. It's all, all this shy. I'm like, what? Like that TV show Shy and Power. I'm like, oh my God, if I see another drug dealer, like, man, we come from that. I don't want to see no more drug dealers. Are you serious? Like, how many movies can they make about drug dealing? It's like, come on, y'all. Can we talk about some of the brothers that was engineers? Let's talk about the brother who invented the car. Let's talk about him. Let's talk about the brother who sued Thomas Edison for the light. Let's talk about that brother who had Thomas Edison in court forever because this white man wanted to steal all his patents. You know what I mean? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Trump's father. He was a little something back in the day. He was known word on the street. He had something to do with the whole ladies and stuff. And he was doing the real estate. He was one of those guys that was burning out all them buildings and buying them up in New York City and Jersey and Philadelphia. Like, Trump knows what's going on. And what he's trying to do, he's trying to be the great white hope. But Trump, if you're listening, bro, you can't save your people, man. Can't save them. You know what I'm saying? And we can't save all our people. But what we can do is give them this honey, give them this milk, and if they come to this iron shopping iron and they come to these camps and stuff, we give them some of that meat, not that synthetic meat or that processed meat. You give them some of that good meat, pause for any P. Diddy fans. But again, I'm glad everybody's on the class. Again, they hate us because they wasn't invited to the festivities. Heathens, take it up with the Most High. But nope, they continue to weaken us. But we standing up, taking the 4th of July, taking our feast days. We taking this back. But we're fighting you on your 4th of July. Stop lying about the 4th of July. We was the one that won it. We won the Revolutionary War. Are you serious? James Armstead, he the one that he did the little quarterback sneak. You know what I'm saying? And we won that. And y'all still put the man in slavery for a couple of years. Esau's just dirty. We taking our feast days back. Yes. We taking our holy Shabbat back. We bringing all this back. All right? Because it's rightfully ours. You know what I'm saying? It's rightfully ours. Con. So this is what we have to do. We got to take all this stuff back. Y'all can have the 4th of July, but tell the truth. A brother freed y'all. How y'all couldn't even get y'all? How y'all couldn't take your own country? Y'all had to get on the back of a brother. Then threw the dude back into slavery again till he got his freedom. Y'all ain't, man, I tell you, boy, Esau is a trip. But again, he's going to get his. You know what I mean? So again, we had the brothers out there bringing out that word mightily, you know, with WFI, HOI, and what other camps was out there and stuff like that. Did the Unity camp. I think some of the brothers did camp, not our brothers, but it was Unity camps all across America, rebuking this 4th of July. And again, we coming. We taking our feast days. We taking our holy Shabbat. It's gonna be a time, hopefully, before this stupid America collapse. Everybody gonna be like, "Oh man, it was a good Hanukkah. It was a good, day of Purim and stuff like that." Because we coming back. You know, we trying to get our brothers and sisters salvation. Even if we don't make it to the kingdom, we trying to get everybody into the kingdom. Hopefully, I make it to the kingdom, but it ain't about that right now. We're fishing. We're going fishing. And then when it's time to hunt, it's on. We don't want to hear nothing, Esau. Y'all got everything, bro. Y'all got the oil. Y'all got synthetic cheese. Y'all got synthetic meat. You got GMO foods and stuff. Y'all up here shaping our kids' minds and hearts with this social media. I mean, you had us out here playing that game. What's that game? That Pokemon game where the monsters come? People was dying. People was stopping on the highways. See, it all comes shaping that mind. It all started with that Pokemon thing. When that Pokemon thing came out, where was I at? I was in California. Everybody was social media crazy. I ain't gonna lie, I was on it too. I was in the park. I think some guy got in a fight. He walked in the job and they was like, "Can you leave?" He's like, "No, I'm fighting the monster." And he started fighting people up in the job. And a couple people died on the highway because they stopped to try to fight a monster. It was crazy. I think it's called Pokemon, but whatever it was called, they do certain things. You guys saw that CIA stuff, right? So they do certain things that you're not even thinking about that's going to get you hooked. And then when something else come out, you're like, "Oh man, I should go shoot my neighbor." Because your mama put you in some program when you was a teenager, and the CIA, they was like, "Hey, we're gonna go ahead and get this dude," woo, woo, woo. Why is 80% of America never leave their city? That's weird. It ain't that hard for us to go get a passport, but 80% of us never leave. You gotta ask yourself, why? Everybody chasing that dog tail. And the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. He's doing it to his own people. He don't care about his people. If he don't care about his people, come on now. All right. So hopefully I answer your question, brother. And let me go ahead and get the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verses 13 through 14. And hopefully in conclusion, we're taking things back. We got to start with our children. They're very, very vital to us. And I don't care if you got a 1-year-old, start programming them. Because guess what Esau's doing? He's programming them at 3 years old. Yes, no matter what you do, half your kids that's going to these schools, whether you're a mighty Hebrew Israelite, a small Hebrew Israelite, whatever you are, by the time they 5, they're going to think Jesus white. They are perfected that brainwashing. Okay. So we have to go ahead and start getting these women, these men who are scholars, who are teachers, create communities. It's not that hard to go ahead and put this stuff together as long as we're doing it in righteousness, and everybody got to get vetted. We ain't trying to have no perverts and people with crazy stuff in their background, people with Tourette's and stuff like that. We need to know this up front, So again, we have to bring ourselves together. But first, we got to get this honey, this milk. Got to get your mind right mentally. Got to get your mind right. If you got some issues, you always mad and angry, man, go see a therapist. yes, you can pray and you can come to the meetings and you can get the elders to pray over you and talk to you and stuff. But the Most High put therapists out here to help you out. Trust and believe me. Okay, trust and believe me. So, yes, I have a therapist. Okay, over 10 years. All right, and some of the stuff you don't think, you know, you see, and bam, it cleans your mind. You up here chasing. You're like, man, why I'm always sabotaging my relationships? Why Shema Mashaki Hawashai? I'm this, Barakathai, brother, sister. You gotta get help, you know? So it's okay. Just, save up some money, go to your therapist. You ain't gotta tell them everything. Everybody had horrible childhoods, and this is what these people do. Some of this stuff was put in our minds to believe, you know? So again, go seek therapy and vet your therapist. Not all of them are good. Okay. And then, after about, 3 months, 6 months, you're talking to them and stuff. Because you're talking to your spouse, they're gonna be like, man, you crazy. Just saying. You're talking to your cousin because people don't know how to, because you're putting something on somebody, right? You're talking to them. So if you're going through something, and if you can't afford it, there's ways, there's always loopholes, to getting a therapist and stuff like that. See them once a month, get some stuff off your chest. Because sometimes people aren't your friends. Sometimes family ain't family. Okay. So talk to somebody and you go get your help. You know what I'm saying? Um, if all fails, come to the elders. That's what they're here for. You know, I'm sure they're always in counseling, and I'm sure they have some beautiful advice and scriptures and some words for you, and can possibly know people that can talk to you. We ain't got no elders that's been in this truth 10, 15 years. Yeah, over 25 years. I think one of them is hitting, I think both of them is hitting 31, something like that. That's 60 years together. Like, come on, you know, use our elders. Lose our senior men, our captains and stuff like that. And we can get you guys, try to guide you into the right thing. Somebody in here work for the government or used to and can help you out. So let's get these scriptures, let's do these feast days, let's pray, let's do what we can, but you also got to get your mental health, your mental health. Okay? Because you out here snapping on people, you out here cussing everybody out in road rage. I'm just saying, you punching your window out, you beating on some dudes, you don't even know you left the car. All right. So if you angry like that, you definitely need to get a therapist. And learn how to garden. That's fun. That's therapeutic. Now you just refuse to do it. I would say learn how to garden. Get out there, get yourself the little tool. They call it the hoe or whatever, the rake, turn the herbs, start planting stuff. That's very therapeutic. Okay. What else? I don't know. Learn how to play the violin, something. But you want to do something that's going to take your mind somewhere and relax and calm down because you don't need to be angry all the time. All right, Israel. So, let's get Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13, 14. Baba Kusha. I think he fell off. Con. Yeah, he might.
Salakia, my bad, my bad. What you say again?
Oh,
I was talking
let
to
me
my
get.
son.
Oh, okay. Let me get the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verses 13 through 14. Baba Kusha.
Already. I'm already there. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 13. When you have it, say, Con.
Good.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
Gone. And so like one of the sisters brought out that, yes, I forgot to put that out. Yeah. Donald Trump father was, KKK. They have pictures of him with his little outfit on, him and his wife, and Donald Trump was with them. And his dad, Fred Trump, he was arrested in 1927 during the KKK rallies in Queens. The Wilder sister. Um, yeah, man, it's 1927, them golden years, right? For white folks, the 20s. And then after that, the Great Depression, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on, but at the end of the day, we got to go ahead and do Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verses 13 through 14. Fear God and follow his commandments. He will find everything you do. So if you're supposed to be going to the store and you're going to the strip club or anything just bad, guys. I ain't gotta say strip club, but just anything that you're not supposed to be in. A lot of them sisters got issues. You got now they letting whores be rappers, and then they letting strippers be rappers, and one of them just got her feelings hurt, because of the whole what is that? The BBL. And just real quick with the BBLs and the fake boobs, ladies, it stinks. There's nothing else we can say. It stinks. It smells. It has an odor to it because it's not natural. Every man on here that been with somebody, and not just sexually, been around somebody who has that stuff in them, you can smell it through certain time. We smell it. We just don't say nothing. So for those ladies who's wearing all that fake stuff, because you got to remember something. One of my family members got shot a long time ago, like in the 80s, I think. And so the bullet still was in him. But what I learned as a teenager is your body rejects anything that goes inside you. Even if you get a heart, kidney, all that stuff gets rejected. That's why you got to take like all these different medicines and stuff like that. So eventually, one day we're at home and I didn't gave it away, but it was one of my siblings. And the bullet fell out. And we took the bullet. He was all like, oh my God. But anyway, so eventually the bullet was pushed out. Okay, your body rejects that stuff. It's foreign to you. Okay, so if you thinking about doing that because you want to keep your husband and stuff like that, then think twice. So again, we're not telling y'all, to stop. Yes, we're telling y'all, especially the wigs and stuff like that. Just understand what you're doing. It can be temporary. 85% of heat is released from your head, and you got a wig on. Do the math. So if you're sleeping at night and you put the bonnet on and all that stuff, if it's a nice bonnet, don't wear it at night. But if it's not nice, just cut a little hole so the heat can be released. So you're not waking up, dehydrated or sweating and stuff like that. Okay, ladies? You ain't gotta listen to me. What do I know? Right. But just some friendly advice. So again, if you have that stuff in you and get that stuff removed because your body is constantly thinking a way of how to get rid of it. So when Stefan told Cardi B that her BBL smell like, I don't know if it's true or not, but her BBL smells like wet trash juice. That's crazy. I don't think it smells that bad, but it does have an odor because your bodies have sweat glands and stuff like that. You're not a pig. Pigs don't sweat, but we do. And if it's something inside you that's foreign, it's going to have an odor, but again, guys, we don't say nothing. Go ahead.
And that's definitely true because just like myself, I've had weight loss surgery. And even when you have weight loss surgery, any altercation, not altercations, but any alterations that they do to your body that's not natural is going to cause you to have certain odors. So when even like when I had weight loss surgery, we had to go like do strict classes that was telling you like, hey, you might have these problems, you might have that problems. All praises to the Most High that I haven't had some of the problems that I've heard that some women have had. but I have heard some women talk about how they have had really bad body odors from having just the weight loss surgery. And that's not even putting nothing foreign in our body. That's just altering it from its natural state of how it used to be, whether that's cutting a part of your stomach off or rerouting your intestines, like how mine's are. I have a portion of my stomach cut off, and I have my small intestines and everything that's rerouted. So anything that's altering the natural state of your body can cause you to have different types of body odors.
God, there's a sister testimony. Kyle halal, sister. Appreciate that. And that's from one of our daughters of Zion, okay? She's up here telling you other princesses that um that you have to listen and you have to pay attention and do your research. Yeah, I know some of the ladies want to look good for their man and stuff like that, or you was young when you did it. We get it. We were young too. All of us over here that's on this line right now, we were all one time 21. We were all 17 and we were all 9. If you're on here and you didn't make it to 9, 17, and 21, please inbox me. I would love to hear that story. All right. But we're all these different ages and stuff like that. And like I say, you have to preach this to these young ladies because that's what this social media is doing. It's shaping their minds to go be like Cardi B. And the Most High put it, if it ain't even true, but I believe it was put on that man's heart to say something. Now, Meek Mill said something about Nicki Minaj, but it kind of was like, but because from the information I had, Nicki Minaj, she's Elam. Her mama West Indian. Some people argue, but she Elam all day. That's a Merkin the 7-Eleven, you like a Slurpee. That's her people. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't really go as viral. But Cardi B is definitely an Israelite. You know what I'm saying? And so, I hate that he did do that. We all know who that woman is, some of us. And she's very sexual and this and that. But the brother ain't have to do that. Like, come
Like
on.
you. And
Come
I've heard the same thing about Jocelyn Hernandez.
on.
CBJ and the guy that she's with now, I've heard them both say how much she actually really stinks really, really bad. And everybody knows she's had some plastic surgery done, even if it was just on her face. She's had some plastic surgery done. So they talk about how much she stinks as well. So it's something in these foreign objects that they put in these women and they don't realize that it's secreting through their pores, through different things, and especially through your belly button.
Mm,
That is one of the biggest places that women don't realize that if they don't clean that section, clean really good. With me being in nursing school now, you have to really clean that part of your body really good, especially if you've had any type of gastric surgery like I've had, or if you've had your gallbladder taken out.
mm.
You can really, really secrete a lot of fluid through your belly button, and it will stink if you don't. Like I've worked in a nursing home, and that stuff is not the best smelling stuff to smell.
God. Again, you know, daughter Zion giving the testimony, guys. You have to, and most of us have, nurses and stuff like that in our Shalakia. Most of us have, nurses and stuff in our family or a CNA or doctor, talk to them, because they have knowledge on certain things that we don't know about. And they can honestly share some of their knowledge that can help us, especially when it comes to certain odors, taking care of yourself, especially the ladies, so with that, and it's very vital that the ladies definitely take care of themselves, you know. So with that being said, yeah, that's the chick Jocelyn. Those that don't know, I think that was the Atlanta Housewives or what was it? The hip hop, Atlanta hip hop or something like that. And that was a show where the chick, she looked like Frankenberry. Everybody thought she was a man and stuff. And she got all this plastic surgery, this crazy looking body. I think she used to be but again, um, listen to people, please Israel. If you're getting, stuff done to you, this for the ladies, stop or go and get the surgery done. Like Black China. Black China had that surgery and she was like, I can't do it. She had all that stuff removed from her. I don't know what she looked like now, but she had all that stuff removed from her because she was saying there's stuff going, just Google Black China. Not her mom, Black China. And yes, I know she's doing the skin bleaching and stuff, but she does have a testimony about why she did it. And she was dying or something like that, you know. So we're not here bashing sisters, nothing like that, but we're just giving, some game and stuff. Um, and there's men that's supposed to be doing this stuff, getting plastic surgery and stuff like that. I don't know if it was a joke, but so for the men, definitely cut it out.
It's a
But
lot. One last thing, another one, K Michelle is another one that did a whole, I think it was like VH1 or something. She did a whole VH1 special on how she got all of that taken out of her for those same exact reasons, because it was causing her all of these problems. She was going through sicknesses and she realized that she didn't need that stuff inside of her body. So she was another one that did a whole documentary on getting all of that removed out of her. I don't know what she looks like and how she's doing now, but I do know she's another one that spoke out about the surgeries.
yeah, Khan, I appreciate that. Um, yes, that was one of the ones I saw. Because after she did it, if I'm not mistaken, Black China did it like maybe a year or two later. I think because of her, because she did it like about 4 years ago, something like that. It was a while back. But
Yeah, K Michelle's was quite a few years back, and then Black China's was a little bit after hers.
right, okay, kind. So as you can see, to the young sisters and to some of the older ones, it's something foreign in your body. It's not good. Yes, if you get a root canal, you need to get a crown. All right. Just FYI. Some of y'all getting these root canals. No, that's not going to, flex out of you. You get a root canal, you killing the tooth. This is something I didn't know. When you get a root canal, you kill the tooth, and you need to get a crown, or that tooth is going to crack. Just FYI. So if you get a root canal, it's going to kill the stuff that's in it that's going to keep the tooth alive. So what you have to do, you have to get a crown on top of it, or you're going to crack that. Some of our brothers and sisters in Israel don't know that. So if you ever go to the dentist and you get a root canal, you're going to have to kick out maybe a couple thousand, get yourself a crown. Okay. So it's just one of those things. Yes, you can get crowns and stuff in your mouth and your teeth. That's not going to go nowhere. Just FYI. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to go nowhere. But we're talking about inside your temple. I wouldn't consider your mouth your temple. I don't know, that's just me. But inside, that's brain of yours. Anytime you cut something open and stuff like that, expect some issues. Okay. So the water for coming on, sister, and giving your testimony and giving us some of this milk and honey. Appreciate that. And anytime any of you sisters or brothers have anything to input, you're more than welcome to input it. Just be tactful. Um, even I haven't cursed. It's crazy. So see, I'll be writing this stuff down, man. See if I can do it, everybody can do it.
Salakia,
God.
what you have to say about, say, in my situation, I'm trying to get a kidney, a transplant, for a kidney. What would your opinion be on that stuff, that type of thing?
I mean, they had I think one of the brothers came on, I got a little bit of knowledge on it. You can get stuff like that, but your body is going to reject it for a while, and you have to take all these medicine and stuff, so your body won't kill it. I don't know if it was Shemaiah or somebody was talking about it, or I saw it somewhere, but once you put that type of stuff in your body, you have what is called not antibody, I think it's antibody, but you got like the T cell, the B cell, and the white blood cells and stuff. One of them attack it. They go like, "Hey, what's this? Hey, this ain't us. Get it out." And you got to take all these pills to, help not your body killing it. So if it's a life or death thing where you need a kidney, yes. But I was just saying, like, kidneys and hearts and stuff like that, yeah, your kidney and your heart and stuff, it's going to be something you're going to have to take a bunch of pills. And I don't know if you have to take them the rest of your life. Someone can correct me. I'm not sure if you have to take them the rest of your
Nah,
life.
you gonna take them for the rest of your life.
Okay.
Yeah, you definitely gonna take them for the rest of your life. And when
Okay.
you first get the transplant, you probably gonna be on like 30 pills. I'll probably be on like 30 pills a day. And then it'll probably wean me off down to about 10 after about a year or so.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think you want to definitely get someone in the family. And yes, but so that's it then. Yeah, you're gonna have to take those pills and stuff. But see, you're not doing that to be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Got kidney on deck, got 24 karat kidney, I got a 2.5 carat kidney with the pearls in it and stuff. Look, it's right, you ain't trying to do all that. So those people are trying to do things for fashionable and cosmetics, and you're trying to do something to keep yourself here for your family, and so you can keep going out here putting in this word, and then Lord willing, most high willing, we get on them chariots, man. So I would definitely say yes, I would concur to that. But as far as doing it for just for popularity reasons and trying to be fashionable, no. So hopefully I answer your question, but sorry everybody, sorry to be winded. I know it's getting late, but again, the topic was is Israel Salakia, is Israel is social media shaping our minds? And I would have to say, yes, it is. And we're trying to fight against it. And again, good things. Take your kids' phones at a certain time at night. You know how hard you sleep. So why put it in the pantry? Put it in your room. Now, if your kid is that sneaky, he needs to go ahead and be like a Navy SEAL or a Delta Force or something. All right. And if you sleeping that hard, then you just might as well let them keep the phone. All right. Or let them keep the phone. But again, we have to balance it out, guys. We did the same thing when we had PlayStations and Nintendo. We couldn't play that thing all night because what was it doing? You start dreaming about it, right? So you can't have this kid up 3 o'clock in the morning falling in love with Jennifer or Jennifer falling in love with Timmy. All right. We got to cut that out. No under 20 relations and stuff like that. They don't need to be worrying about all that stuff. So we got to get our kids back in order and start doing that thing. They may think the Bible's corny, but um we have different classes and stuff, and you can make the Bible fun just like they make history fun. They have a new Bible out, and it's in modern term. I gotta buy it, and it's in today's language and hyperbole and all that stuff. So I heard it's out. I haven't read it and stuff like that. So I can't wait to read that thing and see how they worded stuff. But maybe this is what these kids need, you know. So again, thanks to everybody for joining in. So let's go ahead and face the east, and let's get the Lord's Prayer and pay a little Hebrew. I ain't had time to practice on it, so bear with me. All right, so everybody can face the east. All right.
Hey, Shalaki King.
Con.
Yazian, you want to go at it again? You did a good job last time. Or you?
Sure, I don't mind.
Good.
Let me pull it up first. Hold on.
Done.
All praises.
All praises.
I thank you for asking me, Elder. You made me feel good and confident then.
Good.
Thank all praise. Everybody face the east. Abanawa, Shabasamayim, Kadash, Ayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malak Wafka, Taba'a, Ratazaka, Hayah, Isha, Rataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Natalan Nawa, Lakam, Kal Yawam, Wasalak Nawa, Kawabaf Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kawabaf Yanawa, Wala'a, Tabayi Nawa, Banasaya one, Abal, Hawashinawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwaf, Wa'ala, Wa'ataparath, Lawa Mayam. Amen.
Gone.
Uh,
Gone. Great job, Op. All
all
right.
praises, all praises.
All praises. All right, we're gonna do the Lord's Prayer in English, okay? It's the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 9. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen.
Gone. All right. So you know, I think it was a pretty mighty class. All right. Hopefully, we learned something today. And like I say, and if you didn't, you already knew it, all praises. You know, we're not up here just trying to flex and do whatever. What we're trying to do is wake our people up, try to let people know that this social media, none of this stuff is new. It's always been there. It's just a new name. Like I said, we had social media, we had the new word, the new dance, this and that. Now we're just picking up the phone and we're a little bit more lazier. We're getting all this radiation and all this different things in us, so they slowly killing us this way. And at the same time, they're killing your brain. So again, pay attention to what your kids are reading and watching and listening to. Okay. Um, because they need to know what's going on. They need to be awoke. All right. So thank you guys for tuning in. And tonight's class is social media shaping our minds. And for the most part, it is, but this is Esau, I believe, last train. Because what else can he do? There's nothing else to do to get everybody to follow suit. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so no black person really watch the news. I mean, we do the Atlanta housewife stuff and all that stuff, but you know, them people are getting arrested and getting in trouble, and P. Diddy got everybody running. Everything happens for a reason. All them people was at that party. But anyway, I digress. So again, thanks for tuning in. Um, it's gonna be on YouTube and stuff like that, and on the clubhouse. So again, I appreciate everybody. Kamra Sharala. We got next. Death to America. Shalom.
Long Yasharala.
Come in, Charlotte. Great job, Yazayan. Great job, King. As always,
All
awesome
praises.
class.
The water.
Great lessons. All praises.
Gone. Appreciate you.
And let me just you talked about the root canal.
Gone.
The root canal is something typical that everybody gets.
Right.
But one of the things they don't tell you, the dental industry don't tell you, is that all root canals are infected. So whether you get a crown or not, it doesn't even matter. It becomes infected because once you kill the nerve in the root canal, that blood channel is still there.
Mm-hmm.
And whether, like I said, whether you get the crown or not, it still becomes infected. And it's very, very dangerous. Um, blood still comes up and it still poisons the body.
Done.
The infected blood still poisons the body, and it causes so many other diseases and sicknesses in the body. Um, yeah, it's a real long conversation about the amount of different things that happens because of the teeth.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Hold up. So okay, when they dig in there and they put the filling, so the filling doesn't mean you got a root canal, right? Or it does?
No, filling is just filling back up the pack. It's not
Okay.
going down to the root.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
So you can do a filling, and then there's a point where you can't do a filling because the infection or the decay went down so deep,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll do the root canal.
Mm.
So, but yeah, so once they do a root canal, like the root canals are so bad. If you have cancer, right? If they determine that you have cancer,
Mm-hmm.
the one of the best things to do. Yeah, I mean, even if you don't have cancer, but let's look at it as if you have cancer. One of the
Mm-hmm.
best things to do is to remove every root canal you've ever had
Mm.
because your body is already fighting against this infected root canal, which again, the dental industry don't tell you about that.
Mm-hmm.
So my brother had cancer, for example, right?
Right.
And I told him, King, listen, remove any root canals you have, right?
Right.
He went to his dentist to get the root canal removed. The dentist did not want to remove the root canal.
Wow.
He literally had to fight with the dentist to say, listen, if you don't do it, I'm going to get it done somewhere else. They did not want to remove the root canal. So, long story short, he beat the cancer,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's that serious to get
Mm.
rid of these things. So, yeah, remove the root canals if you can. Get rid of them. It's better to do an implant,
Mm-hmm.
right,
Right.
than the root canal.
Mm.
Zalakia, Elder.
Con.
I just told him to take the whole tooth and just be done with it.
Yeah, yeah. And that's literally what it is. You're removing the root canal, which it means you're removing the tooth. So that is actually better to do than to keep
And a
the
root
root
canal?
canal. Yeah. And like you were saying, doing any kidney um implants, transplants, yeah, you do have to take medication for the rest of your life, but it's better than being dead,
Done.
right? A living dog is better than a dead lion,
You said something there.
right?
Yeah,
So
good.
it's better to be alive in the land of the living than any other option. So yes, you do have to continually take drugs to combat um, and to prevent the infections of this foreign object in your body.
Done.
right? A lot of these people going even deeper. A lot of these people who do sex transplants and wanna, oh, I'm a female trapped in a man body and I'm a man trapped in a female body. When these men go to these doctors and the doctors, we have adults here, slit their penis and invert it to create a human made vagina. These people go through major infections because you cut the penis down, you invert it to try to turn it into a vagina. Hair is still growing on that stuff on the inside. So they deal with tremendous amount of infections because you're trying to go against God, and God designed the body one way. He didn't make a mistake, right?
Right.
So that body, so they go through some major problems, and the suicide rate with those people who go ahead and do all of these surgeries, quiet as kept, they don't tell you, it's high because to live that way and the cost involved to keep up with the medications and all of that stuff. A lot of these doctors, they come back to the doctors and the doctors don't even want to take their calls because there's nothing else I could do. You wanted to be a woman trapped in a man's body. Okay. We played God, but we're not really God. So now you're suffering all of the decisions that you made because no, you can't, our body is not like a Mr. Potato Head. You can't pull out one part and stick another part in. It don't work that way. Right? Oh, let's pull this out, pop this in, and now you're a man and now you're a woman. No, it don't work that way.
Don't work that way.
Rejection, the body is going to see everything, and that it's a whole mess. It's a whole mess. But
that go right along with this subject, Elder. The delusion part of that, and the I would say the mind control part of that go with the subject that of the night. Because I mean, you got to be some kind of crazy to allow this social media and stuff to make you believe that it's okay for you to be a woman and you clearly in the mirror show yourself that you're a man. You know what I'm saying? You clearly looking at a man. So you got to be some type of delusion and crazy to believe that. You know what I'm saying?
exactly, and these people get groomed in the sense of these um, professionals tell them, yeah, you do need reassignment. You are a man, you are a woman trapped in a man's body, and you're not crazy to think that. You're not, delusional, right? We do these surgeries all the time, and you're going to feel so much better when you get these things done, and all of the issues you're dealing with. It's not a mental issue. You're really a man or a woman trapped in a man's body. So they get groomed. They get a whole lot of different types of doctors telling them this, and they end up doing it, and the rest of their lives are pretty much in ruin because they got to keep up with all of the medical issues and infections and the body rejecting what was done. There's no life after that. So, yeah, strong delusions, like you
That's
said.
what the if you guys watch The Orange is the New Black, they put on there that tranny, and he has a twin brother, and they just pushing him on Orange is the New Black. The very first episode is a so-called female, but she's a man, or he's a man, and they're pushing him all through Hollywood. He got his own TV show, I think. I think he got his own show, and they've been pushing this guy forever. But he's young, but he's getting ready to get old. Because think about it, there's really no old trannies like that. You know, I mean, RuPaul, I think he still got all his stuff, but like he's the only one. And I don't think he has any breasts or anything. He's just a dude who wears like a costume. But these other people, they took it a step further. They got all this insert. You know, you're not seeing those 65. I mean, look at what's the guy name? Bruce Jenner. He all messed up. You don't even hear from him. He probably dying somewhere, you know, because all that stuff is being rejected. And he's not even gay. He's a lesbian. I don't even know how that works. But
So this is the length of crazy that goes on with these these demons that these people have, and they have demons. Because like you said, so he is going from a man, right, to be a woman, to now consider himself a lesbian, to be with women.
Yeah.
You can't make this confusion up.
Man, them Kardashians, they're more than witches. They got to be like warlocks or something. Good God.
You can't make this stuff up. It's so okay. Let me share something real quick. Let me share something real quick.
While you pulling up that, Elder, let me say this. You know, in certain countries, I think they just declared, I want to say Afghanistan, maybe. I seen it on the internet that one of them countries, one of them Arab countries, declared it a mental illness uh, to be a trans.
It was originally a mental illness. They switched it from being a mental illness, you know, in the medical books.
Right.
It was
72?
Yeah,
78? 78, 72, something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was always a medical issue, but now they switched it to be, oh no, you're not mentally ill.
And actually, I seen another video in about 15 countries. Well, they named about 10 or 15 countries. It might be more where it's illegal, and it carry jail time, and in at least 3 of them countries is the death penalty for being trans. Yeah, I forgot what exact countries. I can look it up.
In Africa, yeah.
Okay, check out this video right here.
A trans gay man, biologically female, but we're trans men and we're gay. We like guys. What is a trans gay man? Biologically female, but we're trans men and we're gay. We like guys.
You see the mental issues going on here with these people?
Okay, I got it now. All right, it had me confused. I was like, what in the world?
Yeah, it is confusing. Let's one more time.
What is a trans gay man? Biologically female, but we're trans men and we're gay. We like guys.
So they're trans female, which means they're biologically female, but they want to be a man to. It's like I'm watching the video and I'm still confused. It's like one more time.
Say it again.
What is a trans gay man? Biologically female, but we're trans men and we're gay. We like guys.
Okay, so a trans gay male, but they're biologically. Okay, I get it.
Yeah. So
okay,
they're trans gay men. So they're gay men, but because they're biologically female, they're gay So they like men.
My question is, Elder, how does the bedroom look with that? Like, do they not?
Hey, they're still female. They're biologically female,
But do
but
they
in their
choose not to
mind,
use that part because
no, it's
they I don't get it. That's just
no.
retarded.
So they're biologically female, but in their minds, they're trans gay men. So they like men, but they're biologically female, but in their mind, they're gay men.
That's crazy. That's pretty much what Bruce Jenner did.
Right?
Yeah,
This
except
what's her name?
he went through the procedure. They didn't. All right, I got it. That makes sense. Okay.
Right? And
Oh no, it don't. No, it
Zaya
don't make
Wade, right?
sense.
Zaya Wade, which is Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union's son, he wants to be trans, which is a female trapped in a man's body because he's biologically male. The person that he is dating is a female trapped in a man's body. So the person
Yeah,
he's dating is female and wants to be male, and they're dating. So he's literally, it's literally a guy dating a girl, but both of their roles want to be changed. The guy wants to be a girl, and the girl wants to be a boy.
right.
So they're dating each other. If they're having sex, it means it's just a man and a woman having sex. But in their minds, they're the opposite.
Exactly. I
And
seen that. I just seen that on Facebook. It was a big stud girl and a guy. He had on his little pink shorts and tight and was coming across the street and she picked him up and I said, "What in the world?" So that's the mental. It's the mental. I'm like, what's going on? So my boyfriend, my girlfriend, and all that. And I'm like, but she's the woman, the stud, and he's the male with all his sports and he just skipping around like yes and coming across the street and she picks him up like a dude, like, come on. I said,
yeah,
what? Yeah, it's insane.
yeah. And God is not an author of confusion. And all of this stuff, we know it's not authored by God because this is full, 1,000% confusion.
Man, y'all just made my chest hurt. Man,
Yeah, yeah.
that's crazy. Wow.
So yeah, this is all social media, man, as well. This is the mindset, right? This is it shows there's a lot of people walking around mentally ill, but society and the medical industry has told these people, no, you're not you don't have mental issues. You're normal. The world have mental issues. This is why you see grown men wearing dresses with hair popping out of their blouses and they want people to call them ma'am. So you're wicked and evil because you misidentified them. But this grown man, full hair on his face, hair popping out of the top of his blouse, wants to be called ma'am or miss. And businesses, it went so far that businesses were being sued $20,000 for misidentifying their clients. So the whole of society is now making you participate in something wicked because you don't want to be sued as a business. You're there to just serve the public, whatever. And your employee, mistakenly called a man a man. So now, hey, you've done it twice now already. Now I'm so offended. because I come to this restaurant to eat, and now I can't eat because you misidentified me and you called me sir.
Can't
And
that be fought in court though, Elder?
in court, the businesses are losing.
As an individual, you can win though, right?
Yeah, these people who are mentally ill are winning these cases.
No, what I'm saying is the businesses are losing, but as an individual, you can win, right?
How are you gonna win?
Because you can't make me call you a woman. Because
Well,
you can't make me be delusional. You know what I'm saying? Like
you are delusional.
that's like going against my freedom. They're going against my freedom of speech.
Well,
This
you'll get fired if you don't own it. So like if you'll get fired from, let's say you work at Aldi's, and Aldi's, their policy letter says you have to accept it. Then I would just not work when old boy work or something like that.
No, I ain't
You
talking
know,
about as far as a job, like on the regular, like say I'm in the grocery store, grocery shopping, and I see a trans and I call him a man, say he speak or
oh,
something
that's
like that.
strong.
And I
That's
call
strong.
I can beat that in court, right? Like if
Yeah, I
he
don't
try to
think they
sue me
passed
for
any
that.
laws yet on that. I don't.
Right, okay.
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah,
I
but
don't.
this is exactly what this is Isaiah 5:20, right? This is exactly what Isaiah 5:20 is talking about. We're in the society where you want to read that, King?
Okay.
I mean, you got it.
Yeah, I got it, King.
Uh,
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
This is what we're living in,
Yeah, that's
right?
it.
The laws are behind it. The authorities that be are behind it. The doctors and the medical industry are behind it, right? You losing your job, your livelihood to take care of your family and whatever needs you have as a person. You now have to conform to what these laws are because you could be a grown ass bodybuilding man, obviously a man, and walk into a woman's bathroom where there are little girls and young girls trying to use the bathroom, but you like, yo, what up? I'm a woman, and the security of that facility can't come and pull you out of that bathroom and say, hey man, you're a man, get out of the bathroom. This is for women, because the security person is going to get arrested. That's what the laws are,
Huh?
right? And this is why, one of the things Trump is like, nah, we stopping all of that foolishness, but hey,
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it was yeah, that was online like a year ago about that whole spy thing, and it's like, bro, you're a whole dude. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. This man went to the gas stations, rest stop, whatever,
Mhm.
and luckily he decided to go into the bathroom with his daughter, which was younger than 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a man waiting in the bathroom,
I saw that.
right? And if this father didn't decide to go there with his daughter and let her go in on her own, what would have happened to this young girl?
He said he was washing his hands.
Yeah, he was washing his hands. How long it take you to wash your hands? He was lurking in the bathroom waiting for females to come in.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what though? Sometimes I feel like this, and I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes I feel like as Hebrew Israelite men, we should just take the L. Like in a situation like that, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. I know I'm gonna go to jail. I know I'm gonna get locked up. I know I'm gonna be prosecuted to the fullest, but I'm gonna take that L and go ahead and go to jail off some shit
Nah,
like that,
because
bro.
when you
I
think
ain't
about it, now
gonna.
you taking the L as being selfish to your family.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to your
I feel that.
children?
I feel that though.
Yeah, what's going to happen to your kids now? You end up in jail, right? And now the system wants to come in and take your kids and put them
Mhm.
through the system. That's
Yep.
not taking the L. Taking the L is, you know, just making sure you stay out of prison. Be
But
able
I'm,
to
I'm
take care of
saying
your
though,
family.
enough of that. Enough people speaking out and doing something about it. They're gonna have to uh, address the issue though. But I get what you're saying though, Elder.
Yeah, there's other ways, there's other means of execution, but you never show your hand. It's like playing poker. You just never show your hand, you know, and do what you do, but you just don't show your hand. You got to use wisdom and discernment, you know. And
Huh?
so, yeah. So with that, you definitely will be taking um he'll be gone, but then your kid will be gone, your life will be gone, and then you go to some prison. They're gonna move you around. You know, you just don't go to jail. They move you around and stuff like that. Then his family may act out. You know how people are. And even though he was wrong, you know you can get sued, right? By his family.
Yeah.
People forget that. They can do a civil suit for killing their, their loved one. So yeah, it's not worth it.
I wouldn't. I don't think I would kill nobody about nothing like that unless it just came down to that. But I definitely would. I mean, I ain't gonna let you. You ain't just finna walk in the bathroom with my daughter. I don't give a damn how you feel. I don't care what the law say. You're not going in the bathroom with my daughter. I mean, and whatever we gonna do at this point, we just gonna do it because you ain't going in the bathroom with my daughter.
Well, they had the gentleman who was in Texas. This happened about 15 years ago, and I was in Texas when it happened. And I believe it was San Antonio or something. And his daughter used the restroom, white guy, and she was taking too long. And he went in there, and some guy was in there engaged. I think either the guy, correct me if yeah, it was the guy who used to babysit her or something like that. And he was in there, doing whatever to her. And that man beat him to death. He went to jail, but then he got off because the whole town rallied together saying, he just lost it. That's a different story. The man was already in the restroom and he was washing his hands, and his daughter went in first, and then I think he went in behind her. So that's what we're talking about. It wasn't like she was in there and then he just checked it out. Yeah, anybody would snap. We hear you, Ak, on that one. But I think, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah, you're
he
correct.
okay. Yeah. So yes. In that instance, you have to have self-control. Even then, you can still lose. That's your princess right there. You know what I mean? But um it wasn't like she was in there for 30 seconds and then he walked in. It
Yeah,
would have it
con.
would have been on. Yeah, that's
Yeah, there
different.
was a situation where a mother was in that situation where her daughter was in the bathroom and
Mhm.
this man wanted to go in and she's like, you're not gonna go in the bathroom with my daughter in there. But I'm
Right.
a woman, I'm a woman. No.
Yeah.
And the mother was, fighting, yeah, no, you're not going in the bathroom with my daughter in the bathroom.
Right.
And he's like, I'm a woman. I identify as a woman. So yeah, yeah, Mama Bear is gonna tear you up.
Hey, hey, that's it. You know, yeah, you definitely gotta use.
That just life ain't fair. That shit ain't fair. That ain't shit. That no. That ain't right.
Yeah.
No, no, that's not right. But again, this is why, we have our elders, we have people, we be on these classes. You young men, you got to use discernment, you got to use wisdom in certain situations. You know what I'm saying? So, um, You just have to be wise on that one. Like I said, if you walk in and somebody's in there, of course, the first thing you're gonna do, you don't know what happened. You're gonna react. But if you go in there first and then your daughter's in here, now you saying, man, what was your intent? You ain't the maintenance guy. Now you mad, you getting all riled up, you know? And that's where you gotta have self-control.
Done. Hey, shall I keep holding up the, the
Oh
class for
yeah,
longer?
Yeah, everybody gotta go to work tomorrow. Hey, we appreciate you guys sitting on here, just listen to us, go back and forth. But the brother, had to correct me on the root canal. And I kind of remembered that because because I never, my NCO told me about this, and he told me not to get a root canal. That's what he told me. He told me not to get a root canal and to get a filling because he said root canals will kill the. He didn't go all into what you said. That's crazy what you're saying. Dang, that's crazy. So I didn't. I got a filling.
John.
I guess I got one in the back. I don't know. I don't know if it's one back there or not. I know I got a crown back there. I don't know. If you get a root canal, does that mean you can get a filling and put a crown on it?
So normally, yeah, when you do get a root canal, they do have to put a crown on it because now there's a hole in the tooth going all the way down to the root. So
But
they
can't you
do
get a
have to
filling?
cap it. They normally cap it,
Right.
right? But again, whether they cap it or they just fill it, it's
Okay.
still yeah.
It was years ago. I was in the army. It was years ago because I got a crown in the back of here. The back of my tooth. I don't know if that was a root canal or not. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I do remember my NCO telling me, don't get one. I was about to get one because
Yeah.
he was like, take your tooth out. But he didn't go all in depth, you know. And he's an old crusty staff sergeant. He didn't go all in depth. Oh wow. Yeah, you gotta get that, crown. But yes, as it stands, do not get a root canal. If so, get your tooth removed. Have a great dental plan. Man, dental plan is like buying eggs, Lord in Christ. So have a great dental plan and get the tooth removed and then get the insert one. Because if you have cancer or any crazy disease that's coming at you, pneumonia and stuff, that affects it. Okay. We gotta probably do a class on that right there to get way better understanding on that one. Fine, but I appreciate the knowledge on that. Appreciate that. So we're gonna close it out, guys. We did the Lord's Prayer again. Thank you guys for tuning in to HOIs. Iron sharpen iron, and that's what that was. Iron sharpen iron. And you tune in next week, and we'll have another hot topic for you going on in the world and comparing it to this Bible. Because again, this is, FUBU, for us, by us. All right. And until we can fully understand that it's not for any other nation, that this book is for us. This is why they didn't want us to read it, then we'll do better. But again, I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you didn't get to watch the full videos on YouTube, HOI class. And again, Shalom. We got next. Karma Sharala and Death to America. Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
Shalom.